Hey guys, so welcome back to Spoonman's Dairy. So this is day 2 of using the new 6-inch inline filter for milking. I just wanted to go ahead and, like I said, I'd do a video where we can go ahead and get more in depth as far as showing you guys the filter itself and then disassembling it, get it ready to go to milking. And then we'll go ahead and go through the milking, and then we'll get you back into the parlor for the cleaning. And then I can show you some things in there, because this thing has definitely made the production just so much nicer in the parlor doing the cleanup. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and we'll start taking this apart, and we'll get a sock in there and show you how that all goes, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the milk. So first of all, we just have to take our thumb screw off here that connects the top valve there. And that gets that off. And then in here we have our gasket that connects to the spring, which holds the sock up. So once we get that out, and we go ahead and get one of our new socks here. So there we go. Just again for reference, nice brand new unused sock. And so what we're going to do is open that bad boy up like so, and then that slips over our spring and then goes over the end there, the rubber piece. And then what that spring obviously does is just doesn't allow that sock to collapse when the vacuum's going to get the milk up. And then what we do is we just go ahead and help feed it down through there. Get it all the way in there. Like so. So now the sock and that is ready to go. And then we're going to slip our other end piece there, get it lined up on the gasket. And then we're going to go ahead and get our valve connector through there. There we go. And we're going to tighten that down. Get that ready to go. So there we go. Now we're back together, and then this end is going to go to the milking. This one's going to go to the bucket, and then this end goes to the claw, so that way it comes up. There we go. I put my silicone on the wrong end. This end will go to the bucket, and this end goes to the claw, because the milk comes from outside of the sock and then comes up through there. And we just make sure that that's on there, nice and snug. And then this is food grade silicone. So alrighty, we'll keep our socks and bring them in here. Then we'll come in the room and get ready as usual. I'll stick the socks over here for now. So now we'll set that down there, and we'll get a bucket ready to go so we can get our filter on there. Get our gasket on. All right. And then we just come over here as usual. And then we'll put that right on the old milking bucket. So now that's ready to go. We'll get our pulsator. And then as you can see, it already looks a little bit different, I'm sure. We don't have all the hoses running around. So now with that inline filter, we don't need my other filter. We don't need the bar that holds it all up, so that makes it nice. And then over here, this is all cleaned up now. Now we just got the claw that runs directly up to the cleaner, the filter. And then, so now the machine can just slide up there, tuck up in there real nice. And then, so now we deleted quite a few hoses. And then the vacuum hose is obviously a lot smaller now, because I didn't need to have that away from there. So now, like usual, we'll get this set up, and then of course we got to go out and do our initial wipe and get Tootsie in. So, which is nice because I don't have Tootsie in now, so I haven't brought her in. So now you guys can see how Tootsie's brought in. She should be waiting out there for us. She typically is. She's a good girl, but sometimes we do have to kind of track her down. So let me grab a rag real quick so we can do that initial wipe. Put that in there. Now we come out here. I got to get my hairnet on. Again, that's just my preference. And we're going to turn this fan on, because obviously we can have air sucking, but we don't want air blowing through. Not without any open milking lines or anything like that. Of course, Miss Tootsie she's out in the pasture with everybody else, so it doesn't take much normally to get her up here. So if you watched the previous video that I just put out today as well, walked through the pastures and kind of got to see all this. But yeah, they've been sticking over here towards the north side. That's where most of the grass is kind of remaining out here in the pasture right now. There they are. There's Minnie Girl and Missy and Case and Buffalo. And Tootsie, she kind of hangs out. Tootsie Girl. Tootsie. Come here, girl. Come on, sissy girl. She's like, huh? Come on, girl. Come on, sissy. Come on, girl. She's like, uh-huh. Come on, girl. Tootsie, come on, sissy. She says let me use the restroom facilities first, which is nice. Have her do it out here than in there. Come on, girl. Come on, sissy. Come on, baby. Poor flies, yeah. Come on. Come on. Nope, this way. Come on, Tootsie. Come on, sissy. Tootsie girl, come on. Come on, Tootsie. We'll have to go back and get her harness. She's quite enjoying her grass right now. So yeah, I was explaining in previous video for those who didn't watch that first, but yeah, this is all kind of gonna get all switched around. There's a lot that needs to get done. Obviously we moved in just this last October, just before winter, And we basically did a setup to get the girls here, get them comfortable, something that would be good for them until we could go ahead and make necessary changes. But there's a lot of changes that are going to be taking place. There's a lot that's already happened and plenty more to come. So as you guys watch and follow along, you guys will see all that. So yeah, we'll just grab her harness quick. Normally she is pretty good and I don't have to grab her harness too much. But I can't blame her. It is a nice day outside. So just walk out here. Once we get her on the harness, she'll follow me right up. She'll be ready for her haylage and grain and all that good stuff. She's working her way further out, I can see. She wants to make it a challenge for me today. That's okay. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to go ahead and get all of this planted into hay this fall. So we got a good bit to get planted for next year. And then within a couple of years, it ought to turn out to be really nice pasture for them. So we'll see how the first year does next year. And then, yep, it'll be good for them. All right, Tootsie girl, you ready to go get some milk going on? All right, good girl, yeah, good girl. Yeah, you saying hi? Are you saying hi? Yeah. All right. Good girl. Good girl. All right, come on. So yeah, she's definitely one of the easier girls on the harness. So yeah, I'm definitely excited because Missy should be freshening. She could freshen this month or next. We had her around a bull last year around October-ish. So she should be, it's like October, November-ish. She was around my cousin's bull, which is a white park. So definitely, oh no, that was Minnie. Missy was, she was exposed at the same time, October, November, but she was exposed to a Highland. So we're excited to see what the calf is gonna look like. So hoping for heifers, of course. Keep the herd growing. But we'll be happy with either. Good girl. So yeah, one thing that's going to be nice as far as extending out the pasture next year to the north into the tree line is it's going to give them a lot more natural shade, because right now we don't have pretty much any shade. They have to come up to an area with shade. Come on, sissy girl. Good girl. There you go. Good girl. All right, now once I have her in here, I always take the broom and go through and sweep out all the little specks of manure or anything that she might have brought in on her hoofs. just to keep the walkway nice and clean. And then that'll go ahead and get cleaned after milking and after she's back outside. But it's nice to have a nice clean walk area here, and it doesn't take but a couple of minutes. So anything we can do to keep our work area nice and clean. But yeah, their freestall area, definitely time for a cleaning. And now that Emily has her few days off, these are my days to do all the in-depth stuff that I can't normally get to when I have the kids, with having the baby and Oliver and all that stuff. So that's something that I'll be getting to either this evening or tomorrow, because lately they've been staying outside, sleeping out in the grass. The dewy nights that we've had, they staying kind of cool out there. So that's been nice for them. Alright, so now that we got that done, we can come over here and take her halter off. And then I got to give her some more haylage. And then of course, if you watched my milking video, she doesn't get her grain until we're pretty much all set up and ready to milk, so that way she can have something to keep her occupied. I got to get another bag in here, but I think I have enough for her. To keep her tidy until after milking. And then when I'm done with the cleaning, I'll go ahead and give her some more before she goes back outside, if she goes through all that. Alright, so now we can grab our water line and we can fill our bucket up with our initial water for our initial cleaning. Alright, there we go. Hey, sissy girl. You been having a good day? Nice outside, huh? A little warm, but we'll take the beautiful weather, huh? Alright, so now we'll come over here. We'll get her fly swatter tied up. She has got the longest, fullest, biggest fly swatter out of all the girls. We'll get her pushed over a little bit more. Good girl. Good sissy. So yeah, we'll get her tied off here so that way that thing keeps out of the way. We'll get our rag. Remember, we'll fold it into fours. We'll give her a good wipe down. Should be decently clean as she's been outside, but I'm sure there's dirt, manure, or something on there. Yeah, as you can see, it's a little dirty. Not bad. But we'll get her nice and cleaned up. Ready to go. Alright. Now we'll just fold it over here one last time, and these things are ready to go. All right, so there you go, you can see. And of course we set the bucket off to the side. Now we can come in here and get the rest of our milk and stuff ready to go. Of course we switch our gloves out because being out, touching her halter and just being out and then wiping her udders down. We want to put on clean gloves now that we're going to be handling the milk tank and the claw and all that stuff, at least getting it out there. We got to keep what's clean, clean. So yeah, now you saw me get the bucket ready. We got the claw ready. That is it, guys. Now all we got to do is just put the vacuum covers on the portable, so that's ready to go when we get done. And then of course that frees up my initial rinse bucket, so we can just bring the claw right in here, get it in there to do our initial rinse. And then now we can grab our claw. And like I said, guys, I'll bring you back in here and we'll get the cleaning going, and then probably call it there. And then we'll do another in-depth wash video, but I'll at least show you the setup there. So now all we got to do is get that up there. We'll get our claw hung up high, and then we're gonna take that, we're gonna stick her down in there, and then now all we got to do is loosen up our hoses for the pulsator and the milk can. And we're gonna put this on here, and then this hose is a little bit smaller as far as an ID, so it does kind of fight to get on there, but it does go on there. I'd rather have a pretty good snug fit than be loose. So it's just a matter of getting it on there just right. I need to get some Vaseline or something. There we go. So now that that's on there, now we can rotate it, get our pulsator lines hooked up, and then so that's pretty much it, guys. Pretty nice. And then also what's nice about it is it makes it nicer for me to be able to walk around. I don't have the trip hazards that I did before. Not that it was an issue the way I was doing it before, because it didn't bother me at all, but those little things, they all help. So now that we got that in there, now it's like regular. We can go ahead and get our surge pump going. Now we'll grab our teat dippers. So yeah, definitely, like I said, it's only day 2 on using that filter, but I already really enjoy it. It's made it real nice, not only out here, but in the parlor. Now we got that. Now we got to go put our plug in. All right. Now we'll do our round 1 of pre-dip. Get that wiped off. Alright, now we'll get round 2 on there, and then we'll go get her drained. Alright. Now we'll let that do its thing while we go get her drain ready. She's definitely waiting on that. And we'll give her a little bit of her mineral. Back on there to keep the flies and whatnot out of there. Now we'll get her wiped down again and get her stripped down, and we'll get the old farm on and start milking. Alright guys, nothing out of the ordinary. Everything looks good. So we'll come down here and get the claw all ready to go. That's that. I can stand up for a minute. And as you can see, it goes right through. Virtually the same thing, just a different setup. Instead of the stainless steel mesh, we got that nice stainless steel housing with the sock inside there. And that company's been around for a long time, and they make them socks are just fantastic. I mean, doing the research on them. And then obviously they use them on the family farm, obviously bigger scale, so definitely not unfamiliar. I didn't know that they made them small scales like that. I wish I would have known a lot sooner, because that thing has been a game changer. I mean, like I said, just 2 days, and I can tell a huge difference as far as just the production and the productivity out here, just being able to move around a little bit better. And then of course in the parlor when I'm cleaning, just being able to move around, and then the functionality of everything in there has been fantastic. So gonna get back down here. The flies ain't too bad in here, but like I said, when it's warm like this, and they probably are a little bit of a pain today, I'd rather be down here to be able to catch that claw, or just make sure she's not going to kick it off. especially when I got her fly swatter tied to the side. She can't use it. She's more apt to lift those legs and want to kick them off. So definitely not her fault to kick the claw off, but you can't blame her for that. But that's why I'll stay down here, and it doesn't bother me to be down here to be able to make sure that that stays on. So yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day. Hope everybody had a good, safe 4th of July this past weekend. Definitely can't complain here, guys. I mean, when I'm milking, I get to milk every day, twice a day. I'm definitely in my glory. So every day that I can wake up and go to bed milking cows, I'm a pretty happy guy. So definitely been enjoying it. Got out, like I said, I get to get out this afternoon. I've been working on some grass this morning, and then I took you guys on a little walk through the pastures, kind of see where we're starting with. So getting all kinds of things done today. So been very good. So yeah, like I said, we'll go ahead and once we get the milking done here, we'll go ahead and I'll get you in the parlor, and then I'll get everything set up, and then we'll do the sock unveil, so that way you guys can see the sock. And then that way you guys can remember the starting sock when it was brand new. And then you can compare it when we take it out of the fixture there. Pretty nice to see it go white in and then white out. That's that's what it's all about, getting that low risk raw milk. I call it the highly addictive raw milk. So I've had so many herd share members, they'll start out with a gallon. I've had a couple start out at a half gallon, and then it wasn't long, and then they just wanted more, even though they typically didn't even go through that much milk. But when they switched over to raw milk, they didn't take them long to start drinking and going through a little bit more milk, just because not just of the regular milk uses, but then they discovered all the other stuff that they can do with it. So it's definitely, like I said, and then that's where the education comes in when we get them signed on. You know, you go over everything, you explain to them, and you just educate them, and it just makes a huge difference. You get that customer to, farmer-customer relationship started and going. And then, yeah, here we go. So it's very rewarding. So now that we got that shook up, we'll go ahead and get that hung back up. Now we can get her post dip. This cleaned off. Grab our other. Now we can get this put back, and then we'll come off and shut off our surge pump and get all of our stuff to get into the milk parlor and start the cleaning. Today was also, I had the bottle this morning, so we're starting off with a fresh bulk tank, so you guys can kind of see that too when we dump the milk into the bulk tank. So that'll be nice. we'll just pull our plug out the bottom so that way any moisture can drain out. So now we essentially come in here now. Gotta get my plug. Get our vacuum hose put back up. We'll get Tootsie back or flice water. And then here it's pretty simple. We take our milk line off, and then we'll scooch our pulsator twisty up here so that way those lines don't fall down or anything during the cleaning. We'll get those twisted back up. And we'll get the twists out of the hose here. And then we'll grab our strap. Now we can grab our hose. Grab our milk can. Come in through here. Alright, so we'll set that down there. Get our claw in there. That gets washed. Seems how it was out into the milk room. And then now we just put that up there. We don't have to have the additional hose that we had to have with that other filter. And then now we can take our pulsator line. We'll get our plug over here. Get our plug, that's the same process there. And then now we'll go ahead and do our sock review. So we'll get this off. Of course, this goes into there. And then we'll come over here to take the sock off, just so that way any milk can slip down into there. You might have to take it off the other end, because that being wet from the milk is probably going to make it a little bit difficult. So we get that off of there, get that gasket out of there, and then we'll just try to grab it. We might have to push it out. Yesterday it kind of came out pretty easy. There we go. Then there you go, guys. You can see she is basically just a nice white filter. No particles, no nothing. And then of course that all just comes apart. So then that just gets cleaned with our CIP cleaner. That's going to get rinsed out first, and then we'll just take and put our filter in there. And so now we take our milk and get our lid off. Get that down in there to be rinsed. Take our milk, over there. We'll raise our lid. We got a nice clean bulk tank. We gotta close the valve from draining. And then we just slowly pour all that white goodness into the tank. Nature's perfect food right there, guys. All right. And then once we have that, we shut this lid. Kind of wipe off some of that splatter from the outside there. Get that closed, and then we hit our power button. As you can see, it's already climbing up to 73. It'll get up there to whatever kicked on. She's starting the cooling, and then by the time I'm done cleaning, it'll be down to 38 degrees. She'll be good to go. Well, all right, guys, like I said, as you can see, the process and that in here and the functionality of the parlor is immensely big and nice now. So definitely thank you so much for joining along the video if you made it this far. And we'll look forward to catching you on the next one. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.